DocAve. A logical device is a grouping of one or more physical devices that can be targeted for storage of things like backup data, archive data, and even externalized storage manager blobs. To create logical devices as well as physical devices, we go into DocAve and then we navigate to the control panel. In the control panel, under Storage Configuration, we click Logical Device. In this interface, if you scroll down, you can see the different types of devices that can be created as well as policies that can be leveraged in the various services in DocAve. For our purposes here, we're going to take a look at creating a logical device. Before you can create a logical device though, you must have created one or more physical devices, and you can see we have some listed here. When creating a physical device, you simply give it a name, tell it the type of device that is, such as a NetShare or a Microsoft Azure account. And then you can go and you can add that to a logical device. So I'll go back to the logical device tab, scroll down a little bit, and here we will click Create. Now when I come in, I have to give it a name. Let's keep it simple and call it backup storage. And then I could give it a description if need be. And then we scroll down, and here is where we define the purpose of this logical device. Which of the DocAve services will it be available to? A standard storage device can be targeted by just about all the different services within DocAve that need to put data somewhere. Again, archive data, backup data, and so on. If you don't have any specific requirements, you just need a place to put that data, that's going to be the easiest one to go with. Blob storage device is usable in our storage manager solution for externalizing blobs from SQL Server. Redundant backup data storage device is used to be able to store backup data across multiple groupings of devices. You can see down here towards the bottom, we have the ability to pick the physical device. And if I select this though, I now have the ability to add a storage group. So it's almost like having multiple logical devices within a single logical device. You can group multiple physical devices together and then say, this is group 1, this is group 2. Both of them will have backup data streams to them. For a concurrent storage device, you're going to add physical devices very much like you would for a standard storage device. The difference is rather than just writing data to those devices in serial, when I choose concurrent storage device though, it will look at all of the physical devices you've added, figure out which one at that moment is going to have the best performance, and then that's the one that it will actually write the data to. In our case here, I'm just going to go back to standard storage device, and then the next thing we need to do is to tell it what type of storage this is. The most common for on-premises use is NetShare. So it just requires, if I put that in when I'm creating the physical device, a UNC path and the credentials to access it. But you could also target some cloud-based services, including Amazon, Dropbox, and of course, Microsoft Azure. The one thing to remember is you cannot blend the devices. So I cannot have it use an on-premises server, and then when that's full, start streaming up into Azure, as an example. They have to be of one particular type. So in this case, if I scroll up and select NetShare, I can pick the NetShare physical devices that I'd previously set up. And when I select it, I click Add. And if I want another one in there, I select that and I click Add. Again, note the numbered order. As I mentioned earlier, it will write to this device until it no longer can, and then it will move on to this one. If I was configuring a redundant or a concurrent logical device, how it gets used would be different. And just to illustrate what I mentioned before about the types needing to be the same, if I now scroll down after adding network shares and I choose Microsoft Azure Storage, you'll see that clears out. Okay, so cannot mix the types. So I'll go back up to NetShare, and once again I will add, and I will add again, let's say. You do not have to add multiples, you can add a single one if you choose to, but logical devices must be configured to be used in things like storage policies for DocAve's granular and platform backup solutions. Logical devices can be used directly in Storage Manager and do not require a storage policy configuration, but physical devices cannot be used anywhere. The physical device is a basis for the logical device, which then gets used in the different services or in a storage policy for backup. If everything looks good, I click Save down at the bottom. And now if I scroll down, I have my new backup logical device. Thank you for watching this video on how to create DocAve logical devices.